So, Starfield might be lining up for a massive comeback swing in 2026, and the rumors aren't just new quests or more cosmetics. We're talking a behind closed doors showcase, big upgrades to space travel, and apparently Starfield showing up on PS5 plus a possible Switch 2 version. Yeah, that kind of shift. G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down a Windows Central report from Jez Corden about what Bethesda might have cooking for Starfield next year. What sounds believable, what sounds like classic trust me bro, and what actually matters if Bethesda wants players to care again. According to the article, the big spark here is chatter about Bethesda showing Starfield future plans at a private event, with Jez saying he's heard similar rumors and spoke to people with first and second-hand knowledge. And the headline claims are pretty clear. A more ambitious update expansion is being discussed for 2026. Changes are rumored to target space travel in a major way, less stop-start and more continuous feeling, flight, and exploration. A PS5 version is rumored for 2026, and the article also mentions a Switch 2 version on top of that. Important note, the article itself says details are conflicting and you should treat it carefully, so I'm not calling this confirmed. If you played Starfield, you already know the pain point everyone argues about: the flow. Not is there content, not is the gunplay fine, but the constant interruptions, menus, cuts, loading, fast travel hubs, anything that makes the settled systems feel like a bunch of rooms instead of a place. Windows Central says the rumor is Starfield could move away from that loading screen heavy structure and aim for more free roam, continuous feeling spaceflight. I'm going to say something spicy but fair. If Bethesda pulls that off, it changes the whole perception of the game more than another faction questline ever could, because a smoother space loop would ripple into everything. Explorations feel less like chores, encounters feel more natural, space combat becomes something you choose, not something you trigger. The article also claims Creation Engine has had technical improvements to support these kinds of systems, and that those improvements may carry forward into future Bethesda games too. That last part matters because if the engine gets stronger here, it's not just Starfield fans who benefit. Windows Central flat out says the rumor includes a PS5 release in 2026 plus a Switch 2 version as well. That lines up with broader trends we've already been watching, Xbox pushing more titles onto other platforms when it makes business sense. And there's extra context here too. Similar reporting, I think it was a few months ago, claimed Starfield was being targeted for PS5 in 2026, potentially timed around the next expansion and quality of life updates. So if this rumor is true, the strategy is obvious. Drop the big upgraded version at the same time you expand the audience. PS5 players get a cleaner package, existing players get a reason to reinstall, Microsoft gets another revenue wave. And if Switch 2 is involved, that suggests Bethesda's aiming for optimization and scalability. Windows Central even mentioned Starfield has already had work done for lower powered devices like handhelds. Windows Central says some sources believe this expansion was originally aimed for 2025, but could be pushed into the first half of 2026, while others think it lands later in 2026. So the timeline is fuzzy, but the takeaway is consistent. Bethesda has something in motion, and the target window being discussed is 2026. Also, the article references Tirana Armada as a possible tease name tied to the next expansion, and separately, PC Games and covered how Tirana Armada appeared to be teased via a hidden message in an anniversary post, so that part has at least some smoke around it. This is where Jez's take is actually interesting. He argues Starfield doesn't necessarily need some giant redemption arc. He enjoyed it, but he says it lacked the staying power of Skyrim and Fallout for him. And he points at issues like low density and repetitive points of interest, and yeah, that's the real fix list. More POI variety, better rewards for exploration, fewer copy-paste locations, less of that I cleared a big facility and got basically nothing feeling. So here's my litmus test. If the update only improves performance and adds a new story, cool, but it won't change the conversation. If the update makes space travel feel smoother and makes exploration feel worth it again, that's how you get people back. If they're going all in, here's what I want to see. Nothing magical, just some smart priorities, in my opinion. So first, a more seamless travel loop, even if it's not truly no loading, just less disruptive. Next, more handcrafted POIs and fewer repeats. Third, better loot progression incentives for clearing locations. Fourth, space content that stacks. Distress cores, pirate ambushes, faction patrols, stuff that can happen organically. And lastly, a returning player on ramp. Recap recommended activities, quick start options. That's the kind of package that makes 2026 feel like Starfield Upgraded Edition, without pretending the original never existed. Alright, do you want Starfield to get a major overhaul, or are you already mentally checked out? And if Starfield hits PS5 next year, do you think that helps the game, or just proves exclusives are basically a time suggestion now? Drop your take in the comments, like, sub if you want more breakdowns like this, and I'll keep an eye out for any official Bethesda announcements that confirms or nukes these rumors.